Hello, my name's Paul, welcome to Kit Guru, and this is my review of the Sharkoon TG5. Funny story actually, I was looking through my cupboard to find parts to build in this thing, and I came across my Sharkoon headset. The things you find. So this is a new case from Sharkoon. It's a ATX case, which are classing as a mid-tower ATX case. It's pretty much made, most of it's made out of steel, and what I think they've tried to do is go for looks and cooling performance with this case. So what I mean by that is, along the front you can see it's got a massive tempered glass window which shows off the 3 fans that are actually included in this case. So it comes with about 4 LED fans. You've got the option to go with red, blue, green or white. I've got the red ones, as you can clearly see. So along with that tempered glass window, it's also got one on the side panel as well, which shows off all the nice hardware inside. So the front panel is also made out of plastic, and it's got side vents. So that's for pretty much air intake, because obviously the front of it is just a tempered glass window. So the air goes through the side vents. At the top, you've got the I/O with your general assortment of things. You've got two USB 2s. And you've got 2 USB 3s and your reset button, your power switch and your headphone jacks. It also comes with a top dust filter which kind of hides all the mounting at the top, so this just peels off and then you can put it back on. It's attached by magnet, so nice and simple. There's also another dust filter at the bottom of the case as well. The side filters on the side of the front panel are actually got filters as well, so you can remove them and wash them as you need to. This case isn't discreet. It's kind of a look at me, I'm a big powerful gaming PC. I tried putting this in my living room just to see how it looked and how it fit in, and when I turned it on it looked like Darth Vader had walked into my room and turned on his lightsaber. So it's kind of a PC to really display all the big hardware inside. Okay, to get access to the left side of the case, all you do is remove the thumb screw and the steel panel slides off. Pretty simple. Most cases do exactly the same thing. It's no door, but there we go. If we look down towards the bottom of the case, you can see where the power supply will be mounted. Now this case actually supports up to a 205mm power supply, so go crazy. Along the bottom you can also see a hard drive cage. It's got the traditional slide out, slide in hard drive bracket. You just clip it to the hard drive and then slide it in. However, these brackets do come with a 2.5-inch mounting holes, so that's actually quite good. I haven't seen that often, but it's good to know you've got options there. Weirdly enough, you can also mount a fan in here. I found that a bit confusing. I guess it's just to keep the hard drives cool, but I don't think you'll need it. Okay, so moving to the front of the case. To get access to this, pretty simple. Again, 4 thumb screws, unscrew them, side panel pops off. So the first thing you notice is we've got a lot of space in this case. I mean, you can fit anything up from an ATX down to an ITX in this build. Obviously, ideally an ATX. ITX, I don't know why you would put that in this build, but I don't judge. Along the bottom of the case, you can see that we've got a power supply shroud that covers all the way across the case with the Sharkoon name on it. I would really like if this was LED, but it is not. On the top of that we can see 2 hard drive brackets, so basically you can fit 2 2.5 drives here. They just come on with a slide on bracket, so you attach the hard drive to the bracket and then slide it on and use a thumb screw. Nice and simple. There's also another 2 spaces at the back of the case as well. The weird thing is though, the case only comes with 2 of these brackets, and I couldn't quite find online where to buy more, so tough luck if you wanted more. As for GPU, you can fit anything up to a 400mm GPU. That is pretty much any GPU on the market right now. The height of the GPU though may be an issue. This isn't the widest case I've seen in the world. I tried to measure it, and I reckon on the safe side you want something that's about 140mm in height. I'm more worried about the power supply cables actually pushing against tempered glass, but you can try your luck with something bigger if you so want to. This case also has room for 167mm tall air cooler. That is quite large. I mean, there are coolers out there that might be a bit bigger, but that is, you can pretty much get a very, very decent air cooler in here if you wanted to go for the air option. But then if you look at the front of the case, you can see all the LED fans that come with it and radiator mounts. Now the radiators are kind of what this case is going for, because you can fit up to 360 along the front. You can get a 280 in there. The problem is you won't be able to get any larger than so you won't be able to get a radiator with 3 140mm fans on it, because it just won't fit. There's a cutout at the bottom which it just won't slide in, so there's that. But then it will fit a 360 and a 240 just fine in the front. Quick note actually, if you wanted to fit a 360 rad in there, you've got a thickness restriction of 550mm, including the fans. Okay, so you can try and get a radiator on the top, but I found that the radiators I had, both of them, just wouldn't fit. So this case doesn't officially support a 280 radiator at the top, but it does say in the manual that it does support a 240 or a 120. The problem is I found that every time I tried to put it in, the fans would conflict with the motherboard. So I'm guessing the idea is to have a very thin radiator, because I tried and no matter what I did, the fans always pretty much conflicted with either the RAM or the motherboard heat spreaders. I mean, my motherboard has got quite high heat sinks, so maybe that might have been a problem, but your results may vary. But if you don't want to mount a radiator at the top, you can always just mount up to 3 120mm fans or 2 140mm fans. You can always fit another radiator at the back, a 120 obviously, and that will be completely fine. There should be no obstruction there. Okay, so building in the case was quite simple. The case has lots of cable cutouts. You've got some at the top and at the bottom and on the side, so pretty much every aspect of the motherboard you can get to. My cable management is awful, don't judge me, I'm blaming the non-modular power supply. So once you've got all your system in there, you obviously want to know how well it keeps cooled. Okay, so my test system, I've got a Xeon in there with 4 cores and 8 threads. I left this at stock. My GPU is a 1080 Ti, which I also left at stock. And the CPU cooler I'm using is a Thermaltake 30 Silent 12. I put this case under worst case scenario basically, so I used IDA 64 and Unigine Heaven benchmark running at the same time to see how much total heat this case can dissipate, and the results were actually quite good. After 10 minutes of running both programs simultaneously, the hottest I saw the CPU go to was around 57 degrees Celsius, and the GPU, the hottest I found was 81 degrees Celsius. Yeah, so what do I think of this case? I think the case is pretty good. I mean, it's functional. I've got a couple of nitpicks that I have to mention. First of all, the feet are probably the worst thing I've ever seen. They wobble, they shake. Obviously now it won't really do it, but it doesn't do it now. But when you're on the side, you can really feel they rattle, and I think that's kind of unneeded. But besides from that, also the tempered glass window, if you look very closely, when you take it off, you can see that the plastic, the glue that they're using kind of has starting to peel off. Now, bearing in mind, if you had a radiator in the front and or you had all the air blowing towards the front of the case, that would really speed up the process. I mean, I reckon the panel will just fall off and smash. Also, another thing to mention is the fans in this are not the best. So the weird thing about the fans is that they're not quite the standard size. So if I put this is the fan that comes with the Sharkoon, and this is just a Cooler Master fan I found. So if you look at them side to side, the Sharkoon fan is actually a bit thinner. Now that doesn't strike a problem right at first, but the problem is most of the radiator screws you have will probably not fit in this correctly. So be careful if you want to use these on a radiator, because if you put the screw in, you might actually end up screwing into the fins of the radiator. So that's just a little quick note. Yeah, okay, so I don't know why Sharkoon would include 4 fans but have them be 20mm thick. I mean, that isn't the traditional size thickness of a fan. I mean, the traditional thickness of the fan is about 25mm, so that can be a bit confusing. And also the fans, they're not RGB, so when you pick a colour, pick the right one, because you won't be able to change it. But the person buying this case, if you're looking to buy this case and you're just thinking of, I'm going to put all my own stuff in it, that's not going to be a problem, because most radiators come with fans. And if you're thinking about water cooling this thing and really making it your own, you'll probably buy RGB fans anyway. Yeah, okay, the case doesn't come with all the little fancy features a more premium case would, such as, you know, rubber grommets for cable ties or a more toolless design, and some build quality issues, but the case is actually very cheap. So this case, at this present point in time of reviewing, is £60. So considering you get lots of tempered glassiness, and 4 fans included, is actually very good value for money. I think if they actually wanted to make this case even more value, is you would have an option for no fans and then have the case retail for about £50 or £45, and then so then basically you buy it as just a frame to do what you want with. I think that would actually be a very good option. Yeah, so overall I like the case. A couple of nitpicks, but £60, you can't really argue with that, really, can you? Right, okay, so that was my review of the TG5 by Sharkoon. Please subscribe to Kit Guru, and have a nice day. See ya.